Hey guys, Jeremiah Boucher, Finding Your Edge podcast. This Thursday, I'll be delivering my keynote talk to over 1,000 entrepreneurs at the Genius Network annual event. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona. Joe Polish is the founder of that group, good friend of mine. And I'm really excited about giving this talk because it's not a traditional business or investing talk. This is about the personal transformation I've gone through over the last year and a half in my life at the age of 44. Where I was figuring out that a lot of the ways that I was growing and evolving and putting pressure on myself as a business person wasn't personally fulfilling. I don't know if you've been in that part of your career where you hit a wall and the same old rewards don't feel as important or as enriching or fulfilling. And that's when it gets scary because you meet a lot of your goals, but yet they don't fill that deeper need. And I was trying to figure out, why do I keep trying to fill this hole in my life where I feel something's empty? And I've been sharing a lot about it on the podcast lately. So the title to my talk, and it's only 10 minutes, is Pain is a Privilege. And last year before the annual event, I was woken up about my pain. And what woke me up was I went to my high school reunion. It was the 25-year reunion. I went to a high school outside of Las Vegas. We met at an old bar down at Water Street. And I met up with a friend of mine. And I haven't seen him in a couple of years. He's a carpenter. He's got tats all over himself. And I just felt something was off. Like I could feel that he was down. He was sad. When I talked to him, he said, "Hey, I gave your book to my son." And my son said, "Dad, why don't you build a business or invest in real estate?" And he just shook his head. He was dejected. I just could see he was ashamed of himself. And I said, "Man, I'm happy to help. I'll talk to your son and, just have him give me a call." And I walked away and went home. And then I got the call from a buddy in the middle of the night while I was sleeping. And when I picked up my phone in the morning, before I got the voicemail, inside I had an intuition that something happened to Sean. And it ended up that Sean left that party, put a gun to his head and pulled the trigger. And that was a loss. That was a very, very tragic loss. And I felt his pain and I knew he was going to do that, or at least I knew something went wrong with him because I could feel my own. And at the time I was going through a lot where I met a girl that I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. And I thought this was the person that I wanted to build my life with. And instead, due to our own pain, we fell apart and we couldn't be together. And my business was down $1 million. And I was afraid I was losing my identity, that I wasn't going to be successful because it was a very challenging period. And also, I didn't talk to my friends or family. I didn't reach out to people, even in this group or anyone. I didn't want to be around anyone. And I isolated myself because I looked at everything like it was a transaction, like it was an object. Like I had to get this goal so that way I could be free from the pain that I'd been experiencing. And I noticed I just felt empty inside. And it was time to change. I didn't want to live that way anymore. Like I knew at this point, all the old rewards didn't work anymore. And that's when things shifted because I saw people in this group that legitimately felt calm and grounded and strong. And they had amazing relationships with their wives and their family. And it wasn't fake. It wasn't a mask. It wasn't like they were pretending. And they enjoyed their business. They enjoyed working with the people around them and their clients. And they had healthy relationships and healthy bodies. And I'm like, man, you don't have to live in struggle and suffering and in pain all the time. When I finally got real with the pain and I felt it, what shifted for me was my relationship to pain. I started to realize that pain is not something to run away from. It's not weakness. It's actually strength. And that way I was able to actually use it to change my life and to make a shift. After last year's event and after this happened and things were dark, I went on this walk and I'm talking to myself and I'm like, man, pain, what are you trying to show me? I'm here. I'm going to listen. I'm not going to run away. I need to work with you and not against you. And what I learned is first, pain helped me create connection to other people because I get boxed in my little world and I think I'm the center of attention. Once I was able to feel my own pain, I was able to help other people. And why I am passionate about helping Joe's charity, it's called Genius Recovery for addicts, or a lot of other charities where people are truly suffering. And I want to help people who are suffering because I know how bad it feels to suffer. And I am more compassionate, more empathetic, and more understanding to people that have much different backgrounds than I do. The second thing is pain reveals the truth. and the truth of what matters. When I'm down on the floor crying with no hope, it's like no material shit is going to make me feel better. No superficial friend is going to make me feel less pain. And when I've had my health in bad shape, when my back was destroyed, all I want to do is be out of pain and feel healthy. And when I felt like I had no love and connection in my life, all I wanted was somebody to love me and feel connected to someone. And when I felt like I had no purpose or mission, all I wanted to feel was I matter and like what I'm doing is important. And I was sold on this idea that you need to be financially free and that way you can escape it all, right? Get what you want, do whatever you want, whenever you want, with who you want. And that for me was a nightmare. I realized in the pursuit of freedom, I was creating a prison and I was isolating myself from all these different people that were actually my friends or I was not getting to know because it was just objects and it was just suffering and pushing. That way I could get to this final goal and then it was just escaping and numbing along the way. And I was so attached to these outside things. It was profit. It was power. It was a partner. It was all the perception of security, of safety. And it's an illusion because I was looking for it on the outside. And the pain caused me to go inside. And I realized that true freedom is not money. Freedom that I want to feel is freedom to be grounded, to feel strong, to not be anxious, to feel connected to other people, to be self-expressive and actually share who I am and be open about it and feel good about it. Because everywhere I went, I brought me with me. And that was the pursuit of that freedom caused me to want to heal. And that process, change is not easy. It's not a weekend retreat or a seminar or some coach or some book or video. Like I started to learn it's a process. So to start the process to heal, I had to stop. And I had to stop the chaos, the train that was constantly going where I would just try to achieve more, find another partner to get into in a relationship just so I feel better, go numb out, go have a bunch of drinks or whatever it is. And I stopped it. And I'm like, all right, I want to feel this. And I felt anxious. I realized how tense and how stressed I was and how I was showing up in the world. And then the second thing, it's surrender. I had to realize I don't have all the answers. I don't got it all together. And it's time to stop comparing. I'm not going to be the biggest real estate investor in the world. I'm not going to have the perfect girlfriend or be the best looking or some athlete or famous or the perfect social media channel. But yet I was constantly comparing and beating myself up. And I finally realized what I have is good enough. I'm proud of my company. It's good enough. I'm proud of who I am. It's good enough, right? I'm proud of my life and being alone. It's good enough. And then next, I had to seek out help. And I reached out to a lot of people that I wouldn't otherwise talk to. And I had to be vulnerable and talk about the pain that I was feeling, even though I wanted to act like I had it all together. And there's a lot of people throughout this network that helped me in that process and were open and sharing their ideas. And I took what I wanted and discarded what I didn't. And it led me to this event that was hosted by Joe from this network. And it was Gabor Mate. He's a famous psychologist out of British Columbia. And they did it in LA last October of 24. And that was pivotal for me because I learned self-compassion. As entrepreneurs or driven business people, I know a lot of you, including me, beat the hell out of ourselves, are so hard on ourselves. And before I could start healing, I had to take a step back and actually realize it's okay to feel bad. And why I felt that way is because I saw all these other people talking about significant trauma in their life where they were abused and they were in poverty. And I used to always compare myself to them saying, you didn't have it that bad. You got to be grateful. Your parents did the best they could. You weren't significantly abused. And why are you being a baby? And the whole thing is my 4-year-old self developed in a way where the environment created a lot of who I am today, the majority of it. And I'm a 44-year-old guy walking around like a 4-year-old kid. And there was some messed up stuff that was going on. It was not a fun household. My dad wasn't around. My mom had me at 17. She was extremely anxious, and I had a stepfather that used power and control and aggression to rule the household. And it taught me behaviors that helped me in my life and that hurt me. But acknowledging that it's okay and I don't have to compare it to someone else. And now, once I am able to feel that, I can forgive. And I can see that they have their own traumas and that my parents were just doing what they were taught. They didn't have a playbook, and I'm not mad at them. I'm not blaming them. I'm not a victim for this happening. It's just the things that happened that helped me evolve to be who I am today. And now I'm aware of it and conscious. And then the last thing is take it one day at a time, one step at a time. This process of change is slow, and I have to be patient. And I took the level of effort that I put into my business, into my health, and I put it into my mental health, into my spiritual growth, so I could feel and understand what's really going on and not just operate on autopilot. I actually could make a conscious decision and see how fired up my nervous system is because I've been operating in survival the majority of my life, and there's nothing trying to kill me. I don't need to protect myself from people that aren't trying to hurt me. But I had to get aware of it and have to take it slow. And I knew that I'm not going back. I'm not numbing myself. I'm just going to go achieve more, compare myself more to other people, go find a partner so I don't feel alone. And I know where that leads. I'm not doing it. I want to continue to grow and connect and do it from a place on the inside, not the outside. So to wrap it up, there's a lot of people like Sean out there where they don't have the tools. They don't know how to handle the pain, and they let the pain destroy them. And yet it can be the greatest gift. It can be the thing that tells us what we really need and helps show us how to change. For me, that's been an amazing process. I don't have to change. Most people that watch this or that are in this audience aren't going to have to change. They live comfortable lives. They have partners in their life. They have money. They have material things, success. But I still think deep down, we all feel that emptiness, that there's a part of us that knows that we're settling. And if we don't avoid it, if we dive into it, then I think, one, we get to heal ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, we can now help others heal, because I think pain allows for presence. And that presence is the greatest gift, because once we're present for someone, they know they matter. They know that you care for them, and they're able to show up and express themselves, because that's all deep down what we really want. That's what I believe what love really is. So I urge you, explore your own pain. Sit with it. There's nothing to be afraid of on the inside. And it may reveal to you where you can be more present, where you can show up for other people and be sensitive to their pain and their suffering. Maybe you're able to help, and maybe it reveals the truth of what really matters. What are the relationships that are true to you, or even with yourself? So I got to polish this thing up over the next few days, and this is going to be it. So I got some work to do, but I wanted to share it with you guys, and I'll get you the final product. So I hope you listen to it, and I would love to know your experience with your pain and how it's helped you in your life. Learn more about yourself and how it's helped you heal other people, or at least help them heal themselves. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks.